Wrestling fans, when we look at 2011 in the WWE, what comes to mind? The Rock and John Cena and their build towards once in a lifetime in Miami at WrestleMania 28. When we look at 2011, we think of the destructive, massive push of Mark Henry. The Hall of Pain. When we look at 2011, we think of CM Punk and the start and the groom and the build towards his 434-day title reign, in which he took the title from Alberto Del Rio. All that plus so much more happened in 2011, and all that plus so much more happened in the 2011 Survivor Series. Welcome, everybody, to your 2011 Survivor Series review, another classic Survivor Series review on this channel. You can go back and check out any classic pay-per-view that I have done on the channel right now. There's King of the Ring out there. There's SummerSlams out there. There's Survivor Series out there. Be much appreciated if you do that. A lot of good content. Now, the Survivor Series means a lot to so many people. It means different things to so many people. 32 years of the Survivor Series this year in the WWE. It's either the Thanksgiving night tradition, the Thanksgiving Eve tradition, teams of 5 or 4 competing. You saw different championships change hands, tremendous matches. It means so many things to so many people. Now, 2011, however, really points out to a certain superstar that we're going to jump into right now. CM Punk, WWE Championship on the line against Alberto Del Rio. Could CM Punk finally capture the WWE title and get a title reign that he rightfully deserves? As we know, all throughout the summer and the fall, he had his one title reign, and then it got taken from him by Alberto Del Rio. Then he didn't get a championship title matchup, had that whole thing with Triple H. John Cena got put into the picture with Alberto Del Rio. They changed titles back and forth, only to get to the Survivor Series where he got the championship. And it was a good feel. It was a good contest, quite frankly, because you had Alberto Del Rio with Ricardo Rodriguez. And then you had CM Punk's personal ring announcer, Howard Finkel. And Howard Finkel got an extraordinary ovation by that New York City crowd. And it took him like 3 minutes just to start announcing CM Punk. Very good. Really enjoyed it. The match itself, hey, look, they gelled pretty good inside the squared circle. And in the end, I think it was a very, very good booking decision to have Alberto Del Rio tap out instead of going to sleep for a 1, 2, 3, because ultimately that's how Alberto Del Rio agreed to have the matchup. John Laurinaitis said, yeah, you can have your championship match, but only if Alberto Del Rio agrees to give it to you. CM Punk made Alberto Del Rio tap and say, yes, you can have your match on Monday Night Raw. So it was an overall good build and a good feel for the Survivor Series. And, speaking of the Survivor Series, if you go back and you look at the 2011 Survivor Series, and you look at the set now, one thing I noticed that was kind of cool about that set. Now, the still had the small aisle that they came down, kind of what they do now on regular Monday night, Tuesday pay-per-views. However, they had the superstars up on top with their poster on the Titantron. That was a cool, different look because they hadn't really done something like that. WWE should go back to something of that nature if you're not going to make anything special as far as fireworks or pyro or anything, which we all know they're not going to do unless it's WrestleMania or if they're in Saudi Arabia or something like that. So you should put the superstars on each side. That was a different dynamic. Pretty cool, if you ask me. And then you should also look back in 2011 about the destructive force and a title reign that was well deserved of Mark Henry. All throughout his career, he was sexual chocolate. He came out with the Stars and Stripes, Nation of Domination, so on and so forth. Finally, 2011, they pull the trigger and they give him the world title. Goes through Sheamus on his way towards it, and he has this big, huge rivalry with the Big Show. Now, at the Survivor Series, he keeps his championship by low blowing the Big Show, only to set up TLC, in which we all know where that went to very, very soon after TLC, and that was Daniel Bryan getting the world title. This match, it wasn't anything special. The only thing to keep in mind about it, though, was rightfully deserved world title reign of Mark Henry. Team Barrett versus Team Orton. I think in everybody's mind when I mention Team Barrett is WWE wasting away Wade Barrett or wasting away Bad News Barrett or wasting away whatever name you want to call him, because he had so many different gimmicks in WWE when he was there. Because from the Nexus to this to Bad News Barrett, he had an awesome build going. And WWE just looked at him and pretty much stated, we don't want to push him. You got over as a babyface with a heel gimmick. Okay. You're going to be in the League of Nations. That's where we're going with this. So, as Rusev would say, crush. But Wade Barrett, without question, when you still look at this matchup, should have continued on to get a world championship title run, at least a world title. But WWE killed that real quick in their company. Eve Torres versus Beth Phoenix. There's not much to say about this. Eve Torres was not going to beat Beth Phoenix. This is just someone else for Beth Phoenix to look dominant over. And that's pretty much what happened here. Dolph Ziggler versus John Morrison, U.S. title. Probably one of the best matches to open up a Survivor Series as far as one-on-one in a long time. Quite frankly, couldn't ask for anything better to that point. Once again, this is another one of these instances where you look at it and you say, why did John Morrison get wasted away in WWE with all that talent? Some of you might say, well, he didn't get wasted away. He got the ECW championship. He got tag team championships. He got the Intercontinental Championship, all that stuff. He didn't get wasted away. Yeah, he did. He should have been a world champion, an actual world champion. Can't really consider ECW a world championship, okay? Not how WWE had it. So, no. John Morrison should have been a world champion, got wasted away. He lost here to Dolph Ziggler. Understandable, because Dolph Ziggler was on a rise, on the path with Vicky Guerrero and stuff. One thing I'm going to mention that a lot of people don't mention is the fact that when Vicky Guerrero got tossed, and WWE still does this to this day, it's wrestling 101 when it comes to a manager, but when Vicky Guerrero got tossed, WWE likes to make it out like the odds are even now. And, oh, well, the good guy is going to win, right? If you go back and you look at history, okay, 9 times out of 10, that means that the heel is going to win. Whoever has the manager, that's who's going to win. Go back and look. So, going back and watching that over again and seeing that Vicky Guerrero got tossed immediately, WWE gives it away. John Morrison didn't stand a chance once she got tossed. But if you really wanted to make it a little bit more unpredictable, Vicky should have stayed. The only thing I didn't really like is when she kept on saying, "Excuse me." And finally, The Rock and John Cena versus The Miz and R-Truth. The Miz and R-Truth, absolutely the best tag team back then. They were hilarious, causing chaos, creating songs called "You Suck," and telling everybody in New York that they sucked and everything. It was hilarious. And then hearing the New York reaction to it was funny because, I mean, it was a little bit mixed because, you know, at one point, you know, you're supposed to boo them because they're making fun, because they're saying that you suck, but the song is funny, so it's hard to boo it, you know. Miz and R-Truth absolutely gelled tremendous then. And yeah, you look at Miz and R-Truth and you say, okay, well, Miz is who really shined in that. R-Truth did a tremendous job in that tag team as well. How he cut that promo when they were talking about John Cena and The Rock, about how they're on the big trucks, and Miz and R-Truth doesn't get anything, and the pigeons were staring at him, and you know what those pigeons said? Nothing. They're just pigeons. They don't talk. acting like the pigeons are there and things of that nature, and little Jimmy. And then finally, he says, "You gonna get got." So I mean, it was great. I really liked that version of R-Truth back then, and the match. Hey, look, it was okay. It was what to be expected. The Rock and John Cena having their issues about if they could gel together. Wrestling 101, you always see this when there's a heated rivalry going on their way to their match. And The Rock and John Cena pulled out the victory. But that is the 2011 Survivor Series. And I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. Like and share this video. And until I see you again, catch you on the other side.